Hey, it's Doom here, one half of the team from Dungeon Swag, Dungeons and Doom Biscuit on YouTube. And today I think I want to make a miniature campfire and spit. I have one, but it's getting kind of beat up and old, and I'm not real happy with it. And so let's just assume that mine's not going to last forever, and I need a new one. So this is just a little 50-cent or 50, like a poker chip from the Dollar Tree. You can use any kind of round thing you have. You can cut a piece of cardboard or whatever. Anything works, really. And I'm just making sure that this thing is going to hold some texture and hold some paint. So this is a pretty soft plastic. I actually enjoy working with this plastic. It's pretty decent for what I need. I know what I'm looking for. I just can't think of what it is. Oh, I'm using it for something else right now. Okay, so let's just get a base here so that we have something to hold on to. And so if you were getting older and you're having trouble holding on to stuff, using something big like this. Oh, my glue gun's still heating up. Okay, not a problem. So the concept is essentially that we're going to get some rocks. We're going to make a campfire. Then we're going to get some little pieces of logs and charcoal. I'm going to need some more little rocks. Let's get a couple more little rocks out. Smaller is better. And the concept is that we're going to have this little circle of rocks here, right? And then we're going to put some tiny rocks in there to be charcoals and some little pieces of wood to be logs. And then we're going to have two upright sticks and a stick going across, and that's going to be our spit. So that's the concept. And then on the stick going across, we're going to put a piece of meat. There we go. Now we're heated up. We're going to put a piece of meat on there. So the first thing we want to do is we want to turn this into ground. And so the best way I found to do anything like that is to get some super glue. Get a piece of cardboard smeared around. You want to get it out around the edges some. You don't really want to go over the edges too much, but you can if you do. It's okay. It won't kill your project. And since the 50 is going to be under dirt, we won't really see that. So we can just kind of push this down in there. Get some dirt on there. Just using baking soda and super glue there. Nothing fancy. I'm going to get my little toothbrush here and clean off this extra. Alright, so we want to get our rocks in place. You want to kind of find like the flat side of your rock so that it bonds well to this base so that years down the road it doesn't pop loose. Oops, that's not good. There we go. Find the flattest section you can put on there to get a good bond. And so that it's not shaking around while it's drying. Rearrange stuff a little if you have to. Alright, something like that'll do. That's a strong base for us. So let's get a little bit of super glue and kind of drip it in the cracks between them so that it drips down. And if the surface tension doesn't break, you can get a little stick or just about anything to get that down there. And this is going to kind of bond up what we're working on there. Then let's get a smaller rock and sprinkle some tiny rocks in the middle to be charcoal and stuff. As if the fire's been cooking and it's been going. We're just going to use that to represent a little bit of junk that's been crustied. And I'm just going to pull these to the middle the best I can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, now I got glue on my poker. Something like that. We're just going to get a little dab of glue. sure that these are bonded. Now, if you use too much glue, what you're going to find happens is you're going to have a lot of excess crap that won't dry. So you can just get anything you have to clean that up, and that's no problem. Now, I have a bag of sticks from my yard. And I'm going to reach down the bottom and grab some of the smaller crap out of there and see what I can use. Okay. Alright. I could have gone smaller on this stuff, but that's okay. I'm just going to get my snippers out. And I'm going to snip some of that. Actually, it might be better to break it if it breaks easily. To get a more natural look. Yeah, that's the way to go. Alright. So we want to get that in there. Let me get a pair of forceps because I don't really feel like getting glue all over my hands right now. And we're just going to lay that in there like that to represent the fire. And we're going to do the same thing. Just a bibby dibby of glue to make sure everything holds where you want it. Alright, that'll hold it all in place forever. Now we need to do our uprights. So for that, what I think we can do is we can cut some toothpicks up. And we want to find a good height for the spit so that the meat's off the fire. I think what we got there is going to work. Yep, I think so. Alright, so we're going to switch over here to this gel glue for a moment. And just put a dib of that in the corner here. And what we want to do is cut another one of these sticks real quick. So it's the same height across the board. You want to kind of get that in that glue, get it gelled around, and get it caught all over that stick, and then use the sticks and the ground, the rocks and the ground, to hold that in place. Okay. That's working out okay. Tonight is the last night of our Star Wars role-playing game. It's not actually Star Wars. It is a personal role-playing game that I developed, but it's Star Wars-esque for sure. Now I'm just getting a piece of cardstock, and I'm cutting it into a little thin hook or cradle that can hold our spit into place. So all I'm doing is getting this little teeny piece of cardstock and curling it with my finger some. Okay. And I'm going to get this on this stick. Now the right smart answer here is to get the tiniest dab of glue and just grab it with that, because if we try to super glue this, we're going to get it everywhere. You can use Elmer's for this part if you want, or whatever white glue you use. And of course I took too long. Alright, try again. And then we need some meat to put on this. You could use a piece of foam or whatever you have laying around. Over somewhere I have some of that air dry clay. That might be nice to use. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little piece of foam. And I'm just going to trim it kind of a chunky round shape and then rough it up. Actually, this might be easier to do by hand. Yeah. There we go. Just going to get a chunky round shape to be my meat. It's cooking on the spit. And I'm going to shove my Q-tip through it, or my, not Q-tip, whatever this thing is, right through it. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. That's what we wanted right there. Just something to look like a chunk of meat. You can get as fancy with this or as not fancy as you want. That's your thingy, Bob. So we're going to assume that one side of the spit has the skewer so that if you were to lift it up, that you could slide it off, and the other side's going to have the turning device that you rotate it with. So let's get this other little piece I made and curl that around our stick. We got to measure that out. Let me get a pen real quick. So we want to measure this out so that both our little rings sit on the tops of those bars. So I'm just getting a teeny weeny dib of glue. I'm going to take my little piece I just made and shove it down there. Okay. Double check to make sure everything lines up still. Okay. Make any adjustments we need to make. All right. I have a little extra glue here. I'm just trying to pick away. I don't like too much extra glue being around when I'm doing this kind of junk. There we go. Oh, I moved it all over the place. Make sure it's still in the right spot. I need to move it a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Got my extra glue off. Now we want to do just a little drop of this on each of these to hold it in place for a second. And then we want to snip off this excess over here of our stick. We don't want to lose that because we can use that piece. Alright, so let's get our little rings, our little hooks, and position them on the sticks. Let those sit for a moment. Now we need to make a handle for the that turns the spit. So we're just going to use our little bits of cut off pieces here to make that. Okay. All right. Just to hold this in place a little better, let's get a drop of glue on there and let it run down the pull some. And if you're having some surface tension issues, just get, like I said before, get a little stick and drag it where you want it. All right. Now we need to get this mounted on the side here. So we're just going to get a dab of glue over here. Get our forceps. We're just going to stick this little twig on here. Let that sit up for a minute. Rub it around, get it on there good. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. We're just going to put a tiny dab of regular super glue to solidify that. Oh, look at that, we got some on my paint lid. There we go. Then we want to get our little stick that turns it and do the same thing. Oh, it's not set yet, so we got to get that in place first. Get that set. All right. So this is a little high. I should have thought before I did this. This is how tall a miniature is. So that spit is at like chest level. But I guess if you're having a bonfire, that might work. So let's just let this sit for a moment and get it cleaned up or set up. And let's get a little dab of glue on here. So we can start looking at how that stick's going to go on. That handle for turning. Yeah, once that sets up, it should be good. Whoa, flying sticks. So I'm just positioning this a little bit so it's not straight up and down. Because I just thought it would make it look a little more interesting. While we're waiting for that to set, what we can do is we can get a little bit of Mod Podge and black paint and glue and water. This has actually got brown in it as well. And we can just paint that little, this thing, that little meat, so that when we black bomb this with spray paint, sorry, not black bomb it, spray paint with black paint. My friend Paul and another one of my buddies actually too say black bomb stuff. I'm not sure if that's a good term to be using for it, because black bombing to me would indicate that you're just spraying it everywhere real fast and getting it nailed up. And my intent is to put a very thin coat of black paint on this so that we can paint it, not to bomb anything. Okay. So let's see where we're at on this side piece here. That's too long, I think, and we're going to cut some of that off. So generally, I think these, I'm not an expert on such things, but I think these spits, if you were traveling, you would just make one out of any wood you found. And if you were in a town or something, it would probably be like literal metal, most likely. But we're going to make this like on the side of the road, like you came upon a campfire of people, and this is kind of what was going on. That's what I'm going for here. So we're just going to let this glue set. Okay, and I'm going to come back to paint this once I have it painted all black. I am going to make one change. I have to confide in you. This little piece here I'm going to snip off to be shorter. Other than that, it's just going to be this spray painted black after this dries. So this has been Doom from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, one half of the Dungeon Swag team. If you like what we're doing here, like and subscribe. +5 cleaver of liking and subscribing to gain your support. Head to the website, check out my discount code in the link, come to our Discord, come paint with us, come hang out with us, meet some new friends, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.